right, welcome back to another episode of Chasing Ghosts. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these, but I've been kind of busy getting other things straightened away, starting off my toy channel, etc. the last couple of months. So I'm going to try my best to bring back some of these shows that I know you all still enjoy. Maybe do them in a slightly shorter format, as I'm planning to do here today with Chasing Ghosts, and try something a little bit different. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And while you're down there, please also make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. And if you haven't given Whatnot a try, now's your chance. Use my link below and you get yourself a free $15 to spend on whatever you want with whomever you want. No strings attached. You help the channel. You get yourself something nice, so you really don't have anything to lose there. Also, if you are in the market for shopping for, supplies for your collectibles, your bags, your boards, short boxes, top loaders, etc., if you're going to do it, order from BCW, use the link below, and use my code below, Renna10, and get yourself 10% off your order, because why not save money when you can? So, with that all said, hopefully you're going to enjoy this newer format of the Chasing Ghost series. It's going to have mostly of what you come to expect, but it just might be a little bit shortened and cut down so I can do these more regularly. But with that said, if you want to see the new version, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. All right, so let's give this a try. I'm actually leveraging the format that I use for my toy videos and see how they work here for Chasing Ghosts to possibly give you a bigger showing of the comic books that we are talking about, and just kind of change the presentation just a tiny bit, but still maintaining that familiar Pac-Man theme that I have going here for Chasing Ghosts. With that said, for this first episode, the rest of these might not be themed in any way, but I do have a bit of a theme for this first new entry, this episode 121 in this series. That's right, 121, and that's not counting a couple of Star Wars specials that were actually unnumbered along the way, but we've done a lot of these, and it's going to get tougher going along. We might even need to redo some books as we go. Some of these I might have even done before. I don't recall. It's been a while, but today, we are going to be focusing in on Bruce Timm. Not incentive variants. I know I've done some of those before. We're going to be just doing some regular books that you could have gotten over the years, as well as maybe some variants, but not necessarily incentive variants. Starting off with books like this. These are not ones we're covering. This is just to give you a sense of some of the books I'm talking about, like this Vampirella 3. This was a gorgeous cover. This is a couple $100. You can find them out there. Not many, but there are a few out there for this cover. This goes back a ways, I think the early 2000s on this one. It's Vampirella 3. It is a variant cover. They reused this art more recently, I think in like 2016 thereabouts, for Vampirella Strikes number 11, and they made a 1 in 15 virgin version of it. So that one is also out there. Not many of these, but it's a bit cheaper than that number 3 original. This one you could probably find for like 60 or 70 thereabouts. Another one that's a couple $100 is that Vampirella Monthly. Vampirella Monthly number 20, another popular Bruce Timm cover. You just gotta love that style. It's kind of cartoony yet sexy at the same time. It's like a throwback, but yet feels new and fresh, and has that kind of Batman the Animated Series kind of vibe. I don't know. I dig it. But we have that Vampirella Monthly 20 as another option we could have covered, but we're not doing that. Nor are we doing the Gen 13 bootleg. This is a B variant. This is pretty tough to find, but there's some out there, and they're generally around like $50 plus, depending on condition. But also, like I said, a tough one to find, and a fun little scene there on that Gen 13 bootleg. We also get into some of the weirder stuff that we can go and dig into, like some of the more throwbacky kind of sci-fi covers, like this Out of This World classic. You got the bondage cover there, a little bit of Naughty Bits. You got the alien. Classic type of sci-fi stuff. This is another one. They're out there. They're a little bit pricey, but you can find them if you're looking. These aren't the ones we're covering. That's just to give you a sense of the books we could have covered today, but we picked 4 other books. Or I should say, I picked 4 other books, and that's all we're going to cover. So let's see if we can get this done in like 10 to 15 minutes. With that said, let's look at what we've got coming first. And our first potential ghost is Spicy Tales, number 11. This is a Bruce Timm cover. Obviously, as I said, they're all Bruce Timm covers from September of 1989. I'm not going to do the print run thing here or the estimated print run thing or the incentives because we're not doing incentives. So we're going to skip that step and just go right from here into the CGC census. And the CGC census on this book has a whopping 27. I said that a little bit sarcastically, but yes, only 27, which isn't that many when you consider it's a book that's been around a while. And out of all that, there's only one 9.8. 9.8, 6.96s, 6.94s, and then a bunch of others in those lower grades, all the way down to 7. This is a book you're probably not going to find in great condition. There's probably not a ton of them out there in a high grade condition. So high grade premium is definitely going to be part of the market price if you're out there searching. Now, recently, this book did have a few sales. I'm not going to show you all of them. I'm not going to tell you how many there are, just to give you a sense. If there's 3 or more, I'm going to show you the last 3. So that's what we have here. These are the last 3 sales I found for this book. There was a very fine that sold for $275. They probably accept a little bit less, but $275 was the market price. And then there were a couple of there's an auction that ended at $45, and then there's another one that took a best offer on $65. Now, prices are kind of all over the place there, right? You can see, depending on the grade. Those last 2 also didn't offer the grade. You'd have to zoom in and dig in to see the copy itself that they were selling. But if you were in the market for one of these and you wanted to buy one, you are in luck, as there are a few out there. I found at least 3. One of those being a CBCS 9.6, looking for $900. There is a raw, looking for $300, and then another raw, very good. I mean, that's a very good copy. You're talking like 4.0 at best. That's looking for $175. So this is not a cheap book. Yes, there are copies out there, so it's probably not going to. As you know, when we do the ghost thing, it's 1 or less. So we're not going to play any games here. You know, this one's not going to make the cut. This one's got you. If you want to eat it up, you can find it. You can go dig it and get it out there. You just have to pay a price. It being expensive is a different conversation altogether. We're talking about copies available. There are copies available if you want to pay the price. And that's it for our Spicy Tales as our first book. So we will check out our potential next ghost here. And we'll go with Pinky and see what Pinky has for us. Now, Pinky is going to offer us this book. I know you've seen this probably posted on the IGs. A lot of people talked about this book over the last few years. It is an interesting book, not one you're going to find in a lot of places. It's 5-color comics, number 1. Again, you have the Bruce Timm style here. This is a bondage cover with a classic villain. And you see, I had to tweak it a little bit just to make it a little more viewer friendly. But this is from February 2008. In the census, again, we're not doing the print run thing here, but I will tell you in the census, there are not that many of this particular book. We only have 22 for this one, and 6 of them being 9.8s, 2 9.6s, 5.94s, 4.92s, 5.90s, and that's all of them, actually. I just ran through all of them. That's all 22. So 9.0 and better are the grades on this particular 5-color comics book. Now, sale-wise, yes, we did have a few sales, and much like the Spicy Tales, this is not a cheap comic. You can see here, best offer was accepted on $310. Then we had an auction for a 9.4 that ended at $171.50, and then $140 for another raw copy. That was back in July. So these, again, the last 3 sales or so, you can see there's plenty. There's plenty that sold, but how many are available? Just because they sold doesn't mean there's always a lot. That just means that when this comes up, it might be gone like pretty quickly. And that seems to be the case because when I went searching for more copies, I only found 1 this time. So unlike the others, I only found 1 viable copy. Yes, it's a very fine that they're grading it at, and they're looking for $150 or best offer with 11 watchers. So there's a number of people watching this. Price is less than some of the ones that sold, but it is still pretty pricey. It's still pretty steep for this book. So if you're interested, there is 1. And it being 1, it meets our criteria. So this one would be considered a ghost. It's not going to be so easy to gobble up like the other one. There's not a lot of options for you. So this one could be a tougher find for you. But if you find it, good on you. Now, that was our 5 color comics number 1. Let's see what we've got with our next ghost, potentially. Again, these are potential ghosts. We'll see what happens once we actually take a look here. But our next book is an interesting variant. A lot of people think about that Dirty Pair Run from the Future miniseries, and they immediately think of the Adam Hughes Planet Comics homage, whatever. Yes, that is the book of the litter. That is the pick of the litter. That is the book out of this series that would be the top of anyone's list. But don't discount the fact that issue 3 also had a variant, a B variant, that was done by Bruce Timm. That isn't that easy to find and could be pretty sought after as well. This came out in 2000, another Bruce Timm cover because we're only doing Bruce Timm today. Issue 3, Run from the Future, B cover. Now, not given print run numbers, but in the census, we do have less than the last 2 books. We only have 11 graded copies of this book currently, with 7 of them being 9/8. So that is the most out of what we've looked at so far. But then only a pair of 9/6s and a pair of 9/4s, and that's less than a dozen. That's all we got in the census for this book. Copies sold? Yes, we do have a handful of copies sold. We've got copies selling anywhere from like 50 to 70 bucks, as you can see here. So it's not as expensive as the last couple of books, but it's still not like a $5-10 book or anything. This 50 to 70 bucks is still a good return if you can find one of these out there. Like I said, it is only a B cover, so it shouldn't be impossible to find. And even online, if you were to go searching for one, it actually is not impossible to find. There are a few copies out there. So there's a little more than the 3 here, but I give you 3 examples to give you a sense of what is in the market. And yes, there are copies out there from anywhere from 40 bucks up to 70 bucks, all the way up to $150 asking for this Bruce Timm B cover. So with that, there are copies to be found and copies to be had if you want them. So this one, it's not going to make the cut as a ghost. So this one could be obtained if you were in the market for it. Now, with that said, that is Dirty Pair number 3. We have one more book for you, and our last book and our last potential ghost brought to us by, I think this one's Clyde, if I'm not mistaken. It's like Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Dot. I think the blue one was Blinky, the red one was Inky. I think it's Clyde. Let's remember my ghosts right. But with that said, our next option is this throwback book from Bruce Timm. This is Torrid Affairs number 2. There are 2 versions. This is the regular cover version. There is a variant as well that is on the naughtier side. So we will be looking at that particular version, which is this book right here with a little bit of the see-through action. So this is from February of 1988. Also, another Bruce Timm, Torrid Affairs number 2. It is Matt Baker and Bruce Timm. So, we got some pieces here going together to finish this art off. But in the census, again, not doing the regular print run numbers, but in the CGC census, there are not a lot of this book. This particular book has 2 9/8, and that's it. Just 2 for this particular version. The other version doesn't have a lot of copies either, but I didn't go and dig into the numbers on the black covered one. We're going with the B cover here, the variant. 2 covers. 2 in the census. Only a pair. And we only had a pair that actually sold the last couple of months either. Remember, I'm just doing the eBay checks. So this is the last 3 months. This is all we got. And in those 3 months, we did have a best offer on 110 and then a pair. Somebody actually sold 2 of these for 160. Actually, not a pair, the pair. So there's one of each. So the regular cover and the variant cover together. So you have the black outfit and then the see-through one together for 160. So once again, it's not a cheap book, and it's not that easy to find or come by, because when I went looking for one, I only found one, and I found one of the 9/8, but they want $8,000. I mean, you can ask whatever you want to ask. I would be shocked if that got that price, but hey, who knows? Who knows? Like I said, ain't that easy to find. There's only 2 in the census, so it's one of 2. 11 people watching it as well. But $8,000 is a big price tag to put on this. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. So with this one having only the 1 copy, it is not that easy to find. So we will call this one a ghost, which is going to take us to the end of our little presentation. Again, I tried to get it done in like 15 minutes. I think I achieved that. And let's see how we wrap this one up. That was Torrid Affairs number 2. So when we look at which of these 4 books that we covered are ghosts, we actually did have 2 of them that met that criteria of 1 or none, and that was the Five Color Comics #1 had one, and there was one copy of the Torrid Affairs issue 2 available. So those two meet the criteria of our old series and our old title of Ghosts. So these are the two Ghosts for this week. So until next time, hopefully you enjoyed that. Thanks for stopping by and checking this out. Hopefully you enjoy the shorter format. I will try to be able to do these more regularly. Maybe not weekly, but maybe every couple of weeks. And I'll be able to present this and maybe dollar bin digging in a nice little shorter format. So again, let me know what you think about the shorter format below. And I'll see you all next time with some more content. All right. Bye.